From Vilas Hall, on the UW-Madison campus, this is the Badger Report.
Wisconsin Badgers former wide receiver Quintez Cephas was in court today relating to second and third degree sexual assault charges from August 20th.
The Badger Report's Jenna Webster was in the courtroom, and she joins us here in studio. So, Jenna, what happened today?
At today's arraignment, Cephas went before the judge and pleaded not guilty to 2 charges of sexual assault against him. These charges include one for second-degree sexual assault and another for third-degree sexual assault. The 2 alleged victims told police that the wide receiver assaulted them one night in April while they were intoxicated. Cephas's legal team has been unsuccessful in their attempt to get the second-degree sexual assault charge thrown out. They stated that they had evidence that would prove the woman involved was not intoxicated past the point of being able to consent. The wide receiver has filed a lawsuit against the university, saying that the school's internal investigation violated his rights. Cephas's lawyer denied commenting on the issue, stating that it is a separate case. Cephas was supported by family members and fellow teammates today, but did not speak directly to the press. Instead, family friend Bishop Tavis Grant spoke on his behalf.
He's a phenomenal athlete, has a great earning potential, and the only way that he can get back to the field clear of all of these charges is for this process to complete itself.
Cephas is due back to court in 30 days as his legal team needs more time to look at new evidence.
And Jenna, as you mentioned in the piece, there were some Badger players there to support Cephas in court.
Yes, Dakota Dixon, the senior safety, was at the court supporting his teammate.
Thanks, Jenna. We'll be giving you updates online and on our website.
Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke will be sentenced at the end of the month after being found guilty of second-degree murder for the 2014 fatal shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. Van Dyke shot McDonald 16 times just seconds after arriving on the scene 4 years ago. He claimed he feared for his life because the 17-year-old had a knife. Van Dyke was also found guilty in all 16 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm, 1 for each shot. He'll be serving anywhere between 6 to 15 years behind bars.
Judge Brett Kavanaugh is the U.S. Supreme Court's newest justice. His confirmation comes despite a powerful testimony from Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, who accused him of sexually assaulting her while they were in high school together. The FBI investigation was ordered by the Senate. The investigation found no probable cause of sexual assault, but failed to interview the only other witness of the alleged assault. Kavanaugh is the 114th Supreme Court Justice. The Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's swearing in had an effect in Madison.
The Badger Report's Megan Jansen has more.
UW-Madison students are out today to protest the Supreme Court nomination of Judge Kavanaugh. The walkout began at Library Mall and protesters marched up Langdon Street to arrive at the Capitol where we are now. But opposing Kavanaugh wasn't the only thing UW-Madison students were marching for last Thursday. They also wanted to show their support for all survivors of sexual violence.
I hope that women can really feel some solidarity and know that their community stands with them and that the Madison community supports them, believes them, validates them, and that all survivors are valid.
Speakers from the community inspired the crowd and encouraged them to keep fighting.
This is all of our fight. We all have a stake in it, and solidarity is the answer. To the survivors here today, we believe you, and you never have to walk alone.
Students like Catherine O'Brien believe marches are a great start, but there needs to be more daily engagement to ensure all survivors feel safe.
Most of us don't take time out of our days to advocate for these issues, and that's what's really important. So what I would like to see from this campus is a lot more involvement outside of class, engaging with these issues on a political level.
For the Badger Report, I'm Megan Jansen.
And for Wisconsinites to vote in the primary election on November 6th, you do need to be registered. If you live in the same place you lived in when you previously voted, you don't need to register again. You will need to re-register if you are a first-time voter, if you have moved to a new address, or changed apartment numbers. Also, if you changed your legal name since the last time you voted. Online registration ends on October 17th, and you can register in person through the day of elections. More information about getting voter IDs or registering online can be found on vote.wis.edu.
With only 28 days until the midterm election, Big Ten universities are teaming up to make sure their students turn out and vote. A nonpartisan competition called the Big Ten Voting Challenge aims to inspire students to exercise their civic duty and to make voter registration more accessible on all 14 campuses.
I wasn't really planning on doing it like today, but then I just walked past it, noticed it was there, so I figured I'd just get it done with.
Campus and city volunteers are setting up booths at popular locations such as dining halls, dorm buildings, and libraries, and in the process, registering and re-registering hundreds of students.
With bus pass distribution, we had volunteers who could help students get registered to vote when they were picking up their bus pass. That was a super successful project. We registered over 1,700 students there.
According to Tufts University research, turnout on university campuses across the country was just 19% in 2014, compared to 36% overall.
Freshman year, I didn't really see as much visibility of this, especially around the presidential election. So I think it's really great to see this around congressional election, a lot more initiative to try to push people to vote, especially within dorms and freshmen and around campus.
The last day for early registration is October 17th. For more information on how to register, go to vote.wis.edu.
The Madison City Council is calling for the removal of a Confederate monument in Forest Hill Cemetery. The decision overturned last month's decision made by the Landmarks Commission, who denied an application to remove the stone. The monument has the names of 140 Confederate soldiers and was installed in 1906 by the United Daughters of the Confederacy, a group made to honor the memory of Confederate soldiers. And still ahead, we've got the weekend weather, and we'll hear about the Dairy Expo.
There's plenty to do and plenty to see in Madison, Wisconsin. Maybe you didn't think one of those things would be looking at cattle from all over the nation. We've got your story later.
In 1905, we made a promise. We promised that our work at Wisconsin would make life better for our state. Our research has developed crops, restored lakes, cured diseases, uncovered history, peered into space, and saved lives. More than a century later, we've not only kept our promise to Wisconsin, we've extended it to the world. On Wisconsin. More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
At the turn of the last century, we made a promise to our state. We promised that we would not rest until we made life better for Wisconsin. We looked in our own backyard and we planted different crops, bred new herds, identified vitamins, improved harvesting machinery, established food safety standards, and churned a lot of ice cream. We haven't stopped working to make life better for our state and the world. On Wisconsin.
And the World Dairy Expo welcomes the finest cattle and breeders to Madison to be shown throughout the week. Our Kyle Larson has more.
For me, they're just like big puppy dogs. I love them. They come up and they'll give you kisses and they know their names and you can call them in the morning.
The World Dairy Expo is an event that takes place on the property of the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin, and draws crowds that could fill up Lambeau Field. Farmers and showers from all over the United States and Canada attend the event to check out the latest farming technology, catch up with friends, but most importantly, to show off their cattle.
Well, there's a lot of steps. Usually starts, well before the show even starts with just the, nutrition, feeding the cows, whatnot. After we get them down here, the biggest part is acclimating them to the, to the area. They spend 6 hours on a trailer, so.
I am showing my red and white Holstein dairy cattle here. I think the best part is being able to go in and compete against so many amazing cattle. It's a totally different competition and world of its own down here.
For over 50 years, crowds of up to 70,000 people have been coming to this event, and whether it's to show a cow and win a prize or sell a cow, the event is pure fun.
For me, it's just the satisfaction of knowing that I can actually bring cattle here and do well here, and you always hope to bring home that medallion, and sometimes you do and sometimes you don't.
The expo runs 5 days and has various shows throughout each day. People hope to do well to either sell their cow, find a breeder, or a handful of other reasons. Being labeled the dairy state, farmers don't see the expo leaving Wisconsin anytime soon. With the Badger Report, I'm Cal Larson.
A vote to take a stand on Babcock ice cream is postponed until further notice by ASM. If passed, the Ice Cream for All legislation would acknowledge Babcock ice cream as being marginalizing to various religious groups. Gelatin is made from animal byproducts, and consuming it goes against certain religious beliefs.
Plans to build a hotel on the 100 block of State Street is moving to a final vote. Madison's Plan Commission approved the project with only one member of the 25-person board against the proposal. The $43 million project with storefronts on State, Dayton, and Carroll Streets will have 130 rooms. The storefront on State Street will be 4 stories tall, but on Carroll and Dayton Street, the building will stand 9 stories tall, which is 20 feet higher than the city's zoning ordinance. A full city council vote will push the project into the beginning stages of construction. Developers hope to have the project completed by 2020.
The opportunity to buy community bonds to support the Olbrich Botanical Gardens has come to an end. The bonds were available to the public for $500 in an effort to contribute to the $12 million project. The money will go towards building an energy-efficient greenhouse and creating a learning center. Construction should take about a year to complete.
UW-Madison's freshman class is the largest the university has ever seen.
But how does housing built for smaller classes accommodate all those students? We'll find out next on the Badger Report.
At the turn of the last century, we made a promise to our state. We promised that we would not rest until we made life better for Wisconsin. We looked in our own backyard and we planted different crops, bred new herds, identified vitamins, improved harvesting machinery, established food safety standards, and churned a lot of ice cream. We haven't stopped working to make life better for our state and the world on Wisconsin.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin. In 1905, we made a promise. We promised that our work at Wisconsin would make life better for our state. Our research has developed crops, restored lakes, cured diseases, uncovered history, peered into space, and saved lives. More than a century later, we've not only kept our promise to Wisconsin, we've extended it to the world. On Wisconsin.
The 2018 fall semester at the University of Wisconsin is in full swing, and freshman enrollment is the highest it's ever been.
Because of limited dorm availability, the university has resorted to expanded housing to accommodate new students on campus. Residence hall common rooms are turned into living spaces. The Badger Report's Keith Bradley Hewitt has more.
This year brought in 6,862 students. Of those, 92.5% chose to live in residence halls. This has resulted in 45 more students being placed in expanded housing than last year. Each year, the task of navigating the university's needs for expanded housing falls to the Division of University Housing.
So this year, yeah, we did increase our expanded housing spaces a little bit. It fluctuates from year to year depending on how many students we have coming in and different populations and that coming in. But we added about 30 expanded housing spaces this year.
Behind me we have Celery Hall, which is one of the majority freshman residence halls that's experiencing expanded housing.
Some of the other residence halls that have experienced expanded housing include Whitty Hall and Smith Hall. In some cases, it's not just first years in these halls that are affected by expanded housing, but house fellows too.
I do have more residents this year. So last year I think I had about 52 residents, and this year I have about 55 or 56. And the same is for the other side. The other side used to have like 48 residents, and now they have about 52. So it creates a little bit more work for us.
According to the Division of University Housing, early completion of some renovations in Whitty Hall has allowed for more students to find a more permanent space to live. Continued renovations may free up more space for expanded housing in the future. For the Badger Report, I'm Keith Bradley Hewitt.
Thanks, Keith. Next on the Badger Report, we're going to the Badger Report's own Decide to see what's been going on with these temperature changes.
Thanks, Lilly. It's been humid and rainy these past few days, but Madison is finally going to chill out. Today, we're looking at a cloudy day, with temperatures peaking at 46 degrees and lows at 32. Looking ahead to the next 3 days, tomorrow will be a lot like today. Mostly cloudy with a high of 43, and tomorrow night will be chilly in the lower 30s. Saturday will mostly be sunny during the day with a high of 51 degrees and a low of 37. Light showers are expected late Saturday night and extending into Sunday morning, with the showers continuing for the rest of that day. So, those clouds will be staying with us for the next week. Wear layers, bring a rain jacket, and enjoy the changing of the seasons. Back to you.
Thanks, Ellen. So, looks like you'll need your coat out this weekend, a little chilly.
Yeah, I'm ready to wear my sweaters.
All right. Well, coming up after the break, Special Olympics teams up with UW-Madison to create a league made for all abilities. Find out what it's all about on the other side of the break.
This right here is the closet we were in. That was the only thing left of the house. The only thing. Red Cross helped us, and they literally got us back on our feet. Huge outpouring of love just going, people care. We didn't come out of there saying, wow, we lost everything. We came out of there hugging each other, glad that we were okay.
You only know in a fire to get out, to escape. And now, okay, you're outside and you're safe. What do you do now? And that's where the Red Cross came in. We ran out of the house just wearing our pajamas. And at that point, just to even have a toothbrush that I could call my own was so important. You know, it just makes you feel like a person again.
I thought Red Cross does Katrina. They don't help single moms. What happened to our house last year about your birthday?
And the water flooded out. Yeah.
The Red Cross arranged the hotel for us. They gave me that break, that leverage to be able to get it together and take care of them, you know? I feel like we've come full circle.
Like that. This is how I'll do it.
There you go.
I thought I'd start the video by showing you the apartment building where the fire was. When things like this happen, I think you find a new perspective on life. Red Cross put us in a hotel, so we were able to stay together. We're strong, and if we overcame that, or if we can overcome that, we can overcome anything. So
A lot has been happening this week in sports. Yesterday was the 20th anniversary of Jump Around.
And now with us here is the Badger Report's Jake Nissy with a report.
Thanks, John. So this week in sports, the Brewers are back to the NLCS. The Brew Crew made it back to the MLB semifinals for the first time since 2011 after sweeping the Rockies in the divisional series. The series will start in Miller Park on Friday, with a game scheduled for 7:09 p.m. The Brewers will host the Dodgers again Saturday before playing the potential next 3 games in Los Angeles. But the Brewers weren't the only team in Dairyland to do well this week. The Badgers football team squashed a winless Nebraska team at Camp Randall Saturday night to move to 4-1 on the year, keeping the Freedom Trophy in Madison for the 5th year since its introduction in 2014. The Badgers came into the game off a bye week, ready to get back into the national playoff conversation, and Saturday was a good first step. Wisconsin dominated on the ground to the tune of 221 rushing yards from running back Jonathan Taylor. Still, the defense allowed 407 passing yards to a weak Huskers team. That'll need to be fixed before this Saturday when the Badgers travel to Ann Arbor to play number 12 Michigan. But not every football team in Wisconsin was successful this weekend. The Packers fell 23-31 to the Detroit Lions, despite passing touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers. The Pack will host a depleted 49er squad Monday night as it looks for its 3rd win of the season. So football season is in full swing, and everyone's paying attention to the standings. But here at UW-Madison, a group of students and Special Olympics athletes are more concerned with having fun playing the game. The Badger Report's Brandon Fishman has a story of a local league with the goal of bringing people together.
Team on 3, 1, 2, 3. Now in its 2nd year on campus, Unified Sports works to create a level playing field for athletes and student volunteers alike. With the help of UW Recreational Sports, this arm of Special Olympics has formed a flag football league that promotes social inclusion of students and community members with intellectual disabilities. The program also highlights strengths rather than differences, something that Aisling Davern witnesses each week.
Everyone can participate, even if you have a different ability. That doesn't mean it's bad or anything. You're just all on an even playing field.
The Football League features 6 teams of about 10 members. Unified Sports will also host volleyball and basketball leagues to hopefully foster these connections.
We didn't know each other last year, and then we met each other through Special Olympics, and then we've bowled together, we've done lots of things together in the off-season too.
Student volunteer Natalie Statz says that the moment everyone steps onto the field, they feel welcome, regardless of who they are.
You don't need to be skilled in football or anything. It's really just a supportive environment and have fun. Yeah, that's the main thing. And meet other people. Yeah.
Mushett may have said it best. For athletes and volunteers alike, it's about building meaningful friendships and having a ball. For the Badger Report, I'm Brandon Fishman.
Thanks, Brandon. The league playoffs will begin October 28th at 6:30 at the Near West Fields, and you can be sure that'll be a great experience for everyone involved.
All right, Jake, very good story there by Brandon. Badgers, Wolverines this weekend. Any thoughts?
I think it's going to go down to the wire. It's definitely going to be a close one, tough conference game, and the Badgers are going to have to bring their best.
All right, it'll be 6:30 Central on Saturday. Jake, thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
And we'll be right back.
In 1905, we made a promise. We promised that our work at Wisconsin would make life better for our state. Our research has developed crops, restored lakes, cured diseases, uncovered history, peered into space, and saved lives. More than a century later, we've not only kept our promise to Wisconsin, we've extended it to the world. On Wisconsin. More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some, a shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
At the turn of the last century, we made a promise to our state. We promised that we would not rest until we made life better for Wisconsin. We looked in our own backyard and we planted different crops, bred new herds, identified vitamins, improved harvesting machinery, established food safety standards, and churned a lot of ice cream. We haven't stopped working to make life better for our state and the world on Wisconsin.
Thanks for watching this week's Badger Report.
We hope everyone has a great weekend. You excited for the game?
Yeah, I'm actually headed to Ann Arbor to watch the game.
Wow. Enjoy the big house. And that's it for us. I'm John Sklar.
I'm Lilly Price.